Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cross, or X, or whatever, Universal Monster Splinter as Van Helsing Ultimate Action Figure. Question of the day, right away, we're going to get it out of the way. How much do you guys want Splinter and April and the other side characters in these roles? Or are you really just in it for the turtles, or are you not in it at all, or are you in it for everything? Let me know how you guys feel about it. Me, I don't really care at all either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so this figure, just gonna get this out of the way too, comes in at just $2 more than the upcoming Marvel Legends Gamerverse Spider-Man. So, just so you have a frame of reference. Alright, so there's a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Hey guys, real quick before we get into the rest of the review, I just want to let you know this Saturday, February 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on the 3POA podcast. It's a live video conversation. It's not just a podcast, so you'll be able to watch it. It's going to be on their channel. I'll put a link in the description below. It's not going to be on this channel, so make sure you use that link and you can get over there and watch the stream. It should be at least an hour and a half long. We should have some good conversations about toys and other things and YouTube and who knows what. It should be interesting. So 3POA podcast, February 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, link in the description below. This guy stands just about 15 centimeters to the top of his hat, which is a little bit high for scaling purposes, but it's going to be just shy of 6 inches, probably closer to like 5 3/4 without the hat. Here he is up against Darwin, who is always in some kind of pose, and I swear I didn't leave him that way. So he is definitely a little bit shorter than Darwin. He's about 0.8 Darwins. So, a little bit smaller, so you can figure that into the pricing. But other than what I believe are some reused rat parts, not the head unless they just glued the glasses on and the hat. Maybe the heads are reused, but definitely the legs, I think, and tail. But the rest is new sculpt, and there's a buttload of paint and a buttload of detailing and sculpt work and accessories and everything. It's all the stuff you would want. So let's dive into the aesthetic of the figure. It looks really good. Like, I couldn't care less. I could not care less about Splinter as Van Helsing. I think this whole thing, if they're not recreating the ones that we had as kids, I just don't care personally. But they're really good figures. His jacket doesn't have any paint on it, but it does look like leather because of the sculpt work, because of the finish in the plastic. That looks good. That looks like a leather jacket. I will take it unpainted. They did paint the detail stuff in there. You can see the buttons. He has his strap up here, which pegs into his back, but it's removable if you want. That's fully painted. Shoulder pad, little brass buttons on. I guess they're not really buttons. Studs. The buckle. Even the little details back here. Those are painted. The collar for his coat is painted with like the tan color and a wash. His underneath Splinter outfit is painted. This isn't painted, but that's okay. It's a separate piece. It's not just one sculpt. The hands have decent paint on them. The legs, the wraps, everything is painted the way it should be. There's nothing really missing. You could argue that you need like a wash on the jacket. Okay, sure. I don't disagree. You could use a black wash on there to dirty it up a little bit, but everything on this figure is more than reasonably well done. His glasses, by the way, Hasbro, who made Beast with glasses that don't even fit on his head and look like garbage. This guy's got 2 pair of glasses. You'll see when I get to the accessories. It looks so good. They did such a good job with the aesthetic. The details are just so good on NECA's releases. It's nuts that they can get away with it for $35 when Hasbro says, hey, we can only release a reused mold completely other than a head and no paint, no accessories, nothing. Like, give me a break. I'm not buying it. I don't care about the licensing fees. There's licensing fees for everyone, and you're selling way more of it when you're selling Marvel. So I don't want to hear it anymore. The aesthetics on these things are just so good. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think a wash on the jacket would be nice. It does look too nice and new. All right, now as far as accessories go, you do get the head with the hat on it. Then you get the head without the hat. So that's an alternate head that you don't normally see from Hasbro. Also, lots of paintwork on that fur. You have the light underneath, the dark up at the top, plenty in between, the ears, the eyes, everything's painted, and the glasses. They're not removable, but the glasses are very nicely done. They look wonderful. They look strikingly similar, actually, to the ones I made for my Beast head. That's funny. Like, almost identical. Very funny. Okay, so we have that. Then for hands, we have the 2 open hands that come out in the package. Then you get 2 gripping hands and, well, a trigger finger hand and then one other kind of hand, whatever that would be for, I don't know. Okay, then you get his crossbow, which is nicely detailed. Though the string on the bow, that's molded plastic. That feels like PVC to me. Don't stretch that. It seems like it would just break. So that's kind of annoying. You can't really lay a bolt in there because that's going to be in the way. I am not willing to stretch it out far enough to find out if that'll work. But it does look nice. And then you get 3 regular little arrows. Then you get 1 arrow with like a grappling hook type thing. That looks nice. And you get one with some garlic on it. A nice little nod for hunting some vampires. You get a combat knife, which is oddly modern looking, but still looks pretty cool. And then you also get the 3 stakes that can go on his chest belt. You can stick the knife in that 4th one, but that looks goofy to me because there's no sheath for it. But you do get 3 wooden stakes. And you get a little display stand because Splinter has some trouble standing sometimes, though I haven't really had that problem, especially with the tail. So that's a lot of accessories. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 because the crossbow is a little bit finicky and a little bit weird. It's a really, really good spread of accessories, and if you really wanted to, you could remove this harness that holds the arrows. I probably wouldn't, because it does give him some nice detail. Alright, now as far as articulation goes, it's not the most. He can look up relatively well, but not great. It's just some ball pegs in there. Looking down doesn't really work. I think it's because of the cloth in there, the fake cloth, the sculpted plastic that's in there. Looks like a scarf, I guess. It's kind of limiting. Side to side, you're not getting much. You get some rotation, so his head doesn't move all that well. Shoulders, it's a swivel hinge, so they get up to just about horizontal. You get your full rotation this way, of course, no problem there. Then you don't get a bicep swivel, you only get that down here in the elbow, which is a double jointed elbow, and it'll swivel at the top and at the bottom. And we should get loads of range out of this. So, I'm running into a problem here, that's not okay. As I'm trying to use the elbow joint, you're starting to see some stress, some light spots, and that's not good. You shouldn't have that. You don't want that. It's not going to look good once you unbend the elbow. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's turning. There you go. Maybe you can see it now. I guess it's going to end up looking like worn leather, so ultimately it's not the worst thing ever, but it does, it's not a good thing. You don't want that. I would think with a joint like this, you should easily just be able to have the range and not have to force it, so that's not good. But you do get the rotation out of that, so if you need to bring his arm across, you can do that at that joint. So, plenty of range. It's functional. I don't like that it's stressing the plastic. That's not okay. For the wrists, you get a swivel and a hinge. Do any of the wrists have a vertical hinge? They do not. Not cool. I would like a vertical hinge for the crossbow. Alright, for the torso, the lower body is definitely separate from the upper body, but good luck posing it really in any way other than rotating. You can do that some if you want, but you're not really doing anything else because this is just a big tube of plastic. There's no splits or anything in it other than for the tail, so you're not really getting any range out of that. So count that as lost. His hips are just ball pegs, so you technically get plenty of range out of the hip, and they're not too loose. They're a little bit loose, but they're okay. But like I said, you're not really doing anything with his articulation down here, so that sucks. For the knee, it's a single jointed knee that swivels, and that'll be fine. If you want to put him in a little bit of a dynamic pose, you can do that. His legs do function, but again, without his hips being able to do anything, there's really no point in that. The ankle has a decent hinge, of course, because why not, but it has no ankle rocker, so it's very hard to get his feet flat on the surface without him just being in a completely straight up and down pose. That's kind of a bummer. There is a toe hinge. That's kind of cool, but again, no ankle rocker, so it looks like maybe that's supposed to rock. Yeah, I just looked up close to see if I could make it work. I don't think I can, but right there, it looks like the little block that the hinge is part of, I'll do it on this foot, that the hinge is part of, that little block right there, it looks like that should rotate, but mine won't do it, so I don't know if it is or not. But so you do get pretty limited ankles. Now the last thing to talk about is the tail. It does rotate where it connects, so that's a good thing. I guess unless you're using it as a third leg to balance him, then it might let him fall. But it's a thin piece of plastic really, and it's a fairly heavy gauge wire, you can see it in there. But whatever that wire is made out of, I don't know what kind of metal it is, it doesn't hold very well. It's not bad, but you're not going to be doing tons of crazy posing with this thing, so I don't know why it's like that. That's a little bit of a bummer. So there are definitely some problems with the articulation, but that's usually the case with NECA, as they definitely favor aesthetic and accessories over articulation. You probably knew that going in, but if you didn't, now you do. That's what these reviews are for. I'll give the articulation rating, even if it may be justifiable, it's still not good articulation, only a 5 out of 10. It's really hard to pose this guy in any good way. The arms are really it. All of the lower leg stuff doesn't work because the hips can't go anywhere, the torso doesn't work, and the head doesn't really work. So again, it's mostly just going to be the arms. If that's a problem for you, then this is not the figure for you. If you are okay with it because it comes with a load of accessories and good aesthetic, then that's the justification you need. So I'm going to give this figure an overall rating of only 7 out of 10. It does look incredible. Really, really good. But for no real reason, he's too limited in articulation. There shouldn't be that much of a problem for the head. There shouldn't be that much of a problem for the hips. The tail should be better. You know, there are problems. So, yeah, if you favor those two good parts over the bad part, then without a doubt, get it. But if you really wanted to pose this guy a lot, which I'm kind of guessing most people don't, then it's probably not the one for you. So that's where I'm going to leave it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.